Hey, welcome back to Rick's Reviews. I'm your host, Movie Real Rick. And today, we're talking about the remake of the classic Stephen King nightmare where loved ones rise from the grave and we learn that sometimes dead is better. Pet Sematary was originally a best-selling novel written by Stephen King in 1983, made into a movie in 1989, and now remade 30 years later in 2019. The story opens up with a family who has just relocated to a country home in rural Maine. After their cat Church is run over, a kindly old neighbor shows the father a secret place deep in the woods to bury the beloved family pet. But the next morning, the parents are mortified when Church shows up alive and totally fine. Or is he? Dad confronts the neighbor, who admits that he knew there is something about the sour dirt deep in those woods that brings things back to life. Shortly thereafter, one of their children is tragically run over and killed, and the father is faced with a terrible choice: live with the pain and agony of losing a child, or have a midnight funeral at the pet cemetery and wait. So I had really high hopes for this movie after the remake of Stephen King's other fan favorite, It, made me poop my pants in the theater because it was so f***ing intense. While certainly scarier than the original, Pet Sematary 2019 isn't much better than Pet Sematary 1989, which wasn't that great of a movie to begin with. They changed a few things around to keep us on our toes, but generally speaking, it's pretty much the same movie. Child dies, gets reanimated in the pet cemetery, wreaks havoc on the surviving family. They even kept their son's ridiculous first name Gage. But in the interest of gender equality, this time their daughter gets killed instead of their son. Also, in the interest of racial equality, they swapped out this white zombie ghost for this black zombie ghost. They also swapped out this glowy-eyed, ferocious feline for a totally normal-looking cat with matted hair. But the biggest change to this movie is the ending, which I won't reveal or comment on in the interest of being spoiler-free. But what I will comment on is the overall pacing of this movie. It is consistently scary from start to finish, with numerous startle scenes and a lot of suspense. But then, once we finally get to the part where the daughter comes back, the movie suddenly jumps into warp speed and feels very rushed. I think there should have been more screen time with her just doing odd and unsettling things, slowly building towards her more devious desires. But instead, she comes back and like 15 minutes later, the movie is over. I mean, the whole premise of this movie revolves around her coming back from the dead, and that doesn't happen until almost the very end of the movie. It kind of felt like when you wait a really long time to ride a roller coaster, and after you finally get to ride it, you're like, that was it? I guess I just would have liked to see more taunting and tormenting, rather than cheap startle tricks, like having an outrageously loud semi rip by during an otherwise super quiet scene. Plus, I think they spent a little too much time on the mother and her childhood insecurities. The name of this movie isn't Mrs. Creed and her f***ed up childhood. It's Pet Sematary. Let's dig some graves and reanimate some corpses. The movie stars this guy as the dad, who at first I thought was this other guy, neither of whose real names I actually know. The mom is played by this lady, who you won't recognize from anything, despite the fact that she's been in quite a bit and is actually a really good actress. Then we've got John Lithgow as the sweet old man neighbor who essentially destroys this entire family by introducing them to the cursed land that reanimates loved ones into little monsters. But the real star of this movie is Jete Lawrence, who has somehow been in just as many movies as the adult actors playing her parents, and does a fantastic job with the dichotomy of portraying both a sweet, innocent little girl and a reanimated demon bitch from the depths of hell. In short, this movie is very scary and unsettling, but lacks that little something extra to elevate it to a higher status of more than just your run-of-the-mill scary movie. This remake may not have been as good as the It remake, but if you like the original, or you like scary movies in general, then you will definitely enjoy this movie. Just don't expect anything all too different from the original. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my review, please like and subscribe, and comment below on what you thought of the movie and my review. And tune in next Friday and every Friday for new reviews on movies and TV shows. Same Rick time, same Rick channel. Thanks for watching Movie Real Rick.